What's up, guys? This is Child Support School. Class is in session. Today I'm going to talk about what you absolutely need to do if you are served with a Title 4D or Department of Revenue or state child support case. All right. I've had this channel for about a year now. I've been a child support family law attorney for a long time. 11 years. During that time, I did a lot of child support cases and divorce cases and child custody cases, right? Child support that happens with that. But since I started this channel, I've just learned so much through the community here, through the subscribers, the comments, and just my own research about the Title 4D child support process, what it consists of, and the dangers of it. Right. So, just really quickly, and then I'm going to jump in. Everybody needs to understand that this State Department of Revenue Title 4D child support process, it's not like child support in a divorce. It's not the same animal as child support in a custody case where you're going through the regular circuit courts for those things. Okay. It is this really fast triage, quasi-court process. I say quasi because it's done not with like regular judges and regular courts, but in administrative courts that are created by the state, that are run by like the State Department of Revenue, with administrative judges. This quasi-court system that's built for speed. Okay, it's built to get a parent started going through the establishment process, get them through that process fast, and get child support flowing from them, and aggressively have it court ordered and aggressively have it enforced, and charging very aggressive interest rates if it's late. So the problem with that is that any court process that's built for speed is going to invariably stomp on people's rights. Their constitutional rights, their right to a notice of a hearing, their right to conduct discovery, their right to properly examine the people that are making allegations against them, call witnesses, all that stuff. If a court process is built for speed, you can almost always bet that it's going to stomp on people's rights. And, the divorce process, the custody process, it moves pretty slow, but there's a reason for that. It's because the courts have to make sure that everyone's rights are protected. But in the Title 4D and the Department of Revenue administrative child support process, it's just not happening. Unfortunately, it's not happening. There might be good people who work in the system, who do their best, who want to do the right thing, but the system itself, if it's built for speed, it's going to stomp on people's rights. Okay, so if you are finding yourself getting served with a case and getting about to be stuck in that system, that Title 4D, and you'll know if that's what it is, most likely because you're not getting divorced and no one's going for custody, right? But yet you're getting paperwork for child support. If that's the case, then you are probably wrapped up in this Department of Revenue State Title 4D child support administrative process mess. Okay, so the first absolute critical thing is you have to get out of the Title 4D process. Now, I've got ways that I'm going to get into in this video. There are other creators who have ways like sending different forms to the state demanding the contract, right? There are certain processes that other creators here on YouTube have taken that attack the illegality, the alleged illegality of the process, because it's an illegal contract. It gets really deep and there's a lot of really cool ideas. I have not had a chance to vet those personally, so I'm only going to talk in this video about what I personally have done, what I personally have seen work. But this in no way means that there's not other things that can be done. And I'm just looking into those. And once I've personally vetted them, done them, tried them successfully, then I'll start talking about them in more depth on this channel. But first off, nothing here is going to be legal advice. Nothing here is meant to establish an attorney-client relationship. Always, a lot of this stuff is different from one state to the next. So always consult your own attorney in your particular jurisdiction, okay? before you make any decisions about your case, from a YouTube video, okay? All right, so you get either a letter in the mail notifying you, a letter in the mail from the state notifying you that they're about to start going after you for child support, or you actually get something in the mail from them saying, hey, look, surprise, here's your, we've opened a case against you. We're already in this process, and this is the amount of, give us your income information because we're calculating child support. All right. Sometimes, they'll reach out to you by phone. Okay. Sometimes these people will contact you by phone. They'll have you contact them by phone numbers, and they'll have these case managers who often will, sound friendly. They'll sound like they're on your side. They'll sound like, hey, yeah, we're trying to help you and just get this number as low as possible. I've heard all kinds of stories, but you should understand that anyone calling you to talk about, your income information, anyone who works for the state in that child support establishment process is probably not looking out for your best interests. Okay, they may sound friendly, they may sound like they're trying to help you out, but I mean, think about it in terms of you've been accused of a crime, you're at the police station getting questioned, and you didn't do the crime, and the detective is being really friendly and really seems like he's on your side and telling you, hey, I'm really trying to get you out of this, so answer all these questions that I have. All right, the same way you would think about that, you need to think about most people who work for the state that are calling you to talk about your income and all of that stuff when they're going after you for child support, okay? If they're coming at you to establish child support, you need to, like I said, make it your number one priority to get out of the administrative process. All right, most places that I'm aware of, okay, and I'm not aware of everywhere, so you got to vet this yourself. Most places that I'm aware of, when they are first initiating that process, you've got this window of time where you can object to it. All right, and my theory is that the states, they know damn well that they technically aren't legally allowed to do the shit that they're doing. And so there's this window of time that you have in the very beginning to object to going through their administrative Title 4D process. Okay? In my state, when they send out the first letter notifying the parents that, hey, look, we're going to be going after you for child support administratively, in the coming days, where please see the attached affidavit for you to fill out, providing us your income information. Please fill that out and give that back to us within 20 days. If we don't have it back within 20 days, we don't hear from you within 20 days. This is the important part. We're going to assume that you consent to this process, and we're going to go ahead and move forward collecting your income information from the IRS directly. And we're going to move forward with ordering you to pay child support and establishing a number. And we are going to assume, by you not responding, that this is the proper address for us to continue sending you correspondence, right? You're not served by a process server. They haven't filed anything in the court. And it's just this really scary quasi-judicial thing that seems official. It seems like it's legit court stuff. But, I mean, if you really dig deep and you look at it, it's really not. It's scary. I don't understand how they're doing this, right? But they're doing it. And so the key is, at that juncture, in the very, very beginning, you've got some options. And like in my state, they say if you object to this process moving forward and you prefer that this process go through the circuit courts, you have to notify us in writing within 20 days. If we don't receive that objection within 20 days, we're going to, boom, again, assume that you consent to this and blah, blah, blah. So you got to, whether that first letter gives you specific instructions to object within 20 days or not, all right, it's going to be very important everywhere you go. The minute you get any correspondence from them, you have to send a certified letter in, just basically saying, hey, look, here's the child support case number that you gave me on the letter. I received your letter. I do not consent to going through this process, to going through this Title 4D administrative state DOR child support process. I demand that this be brought through the circuit courts. Okay, and if you get that in on time, okay, if they're following the rules, most places you go, I know it's this way in my state, you get that to them in time, they're going to stop opening their administrative child support case, and they're going to either let it sit. You might not hear from them for years, and then one day they do file in the circuit courts, or sometime within 6 to 12 months they'll file in the circuit courts. I know that is not the golden ticket for a lot of guys. A lot of y'all are like, well, that's great, but I'm still going to get nailed for child support. But if you are going to get nailed for child support, it has to be through the circuit courts, because that's the only way you really have any adequate ability to conduct discovery, to question the witnesses against you or the other party, and to really force the other party to prove how much money they're claiming they make or don't make, right? Because all of that, check out the other videos on this channel, all of that plays into, there's so many factors into a child support number. So I have seen, I'm not telling you to do this is not advice that I'm telling you to do, I'm just telling you what I've seen people do to try to get over on the system. They, and I'm going to, disclaimer, this is bad, don't do this, okay? But I have seen people get the administrative letter. They have hustled up and filed their own custody case, their circuit court case to determine paternity, right, including child support. They sent a copy of that filed petition for custody and child support to the State Department of Revenue with a letter saying, hey, please dissolve your case. It's been less than 20 days. I'm within the notice requirements. Here's a copy of the circuit court petition I've filed. Please dissolve your administrative case. And then once he got confirmation that they did, he then voluntarily dismissed his paternity action that he filed. Right? Super shady, super shady. Don't advise that you do this at all. But what ended up happening is he bought himself several years of no child support, right? Because it took the Department of Revenue, they're busy, they're overburdened, and apparently it just took a long time for them to kind of figure out what happened and catch up with everything. And then eventually, he ended up having a circuit court case. But in that time, in those several years that it bought him that time, he made arrangements with the mom. He was doing 50-50 time with the kids. He worked so many things out with the mom, and he opened a business, and he worked things out with his income to ensure that he wasn't going to get ripped off on child support. So it gave him time to prep and be ready for it. And I thought that was interesting. Don't know if that would work for everybody, because I think eventually the DOR would catch on to that. But I thought that was an interesting kind of situation. But yeah, the absolute number one priority needs to be get away from the Title 4D State Department of Revenue child support process at all costs. If you have to have, if they're coming after you, it's going to happen, right? If you get that letter that they're coming after you for child support, you need to just kind of take that deep breath, that woo-saw, and just let it soak in. All right, I'm probably going to have to pay some child support. This is happening. I don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen. What do I do now? Understanding child support is going to happen. What do I do to protect myself? What do I do to make sure I don't get raked over the coals here? And that is to probably, in most cases, file a court case, a circuit court case, to establish paternity, time sharing with the kid, parental responsibility, all that stuff. Because most places I know of, except Texas, I think, they're going to give you credit in the child support calculations for how much overnight custody time sharing you have with the kid. So you want to work on getting as much of that overnight time with your kid as possible. That is only if you're interested in having a relationship with your kid, right? If you are not interested in having a relationship with your kid, do not go for 50-50 custody. You're going to hurt that kid. It's just going to make the world, it's not a good situation. Your heart's got to be in the right place. So there's got to be some soul searching here. Some guys are able to circumvent the system and be off the grid and leave the country or keep their money in other people's names and do all this other stuff, and they're successful at avoiding paying any substantial child support. I don't advocate that stuff on this channel. I believe, I personally believe that, if we have a kid, we should do our best to provide support for the kid. But I believe that support for the kid, before you go, cursing me in the comments, I believe that support for the kid absolutely 100% includes having a damn good quality relationship with both parents, right? That's the best way you can support your kid, is have that kid have both parents in his or her life, right? Not just financially, it's emotionally, it's relationally, it's having dad, because most of the time it's gonna be dad who's looking down the barrel of this child support case. Supporting your kid through childhood means being there, being a good responsible father figure, teaching your kid about life and about the world. And the financial aspect is there too, but if you're there 50% of the time active and having a strong relationship with your life, then the financial side of the support of the child is going to be a lot lower because of the way that most states give you credit for overnights with the kids. But that's basically the core of what I'm trying to communicate with this video, is when you're wrapped up in this state Title 4D child support Department of Revenue process, right? It's all about money only. It's only about money. They don't establish parental responsibility. They don't establish any sort of court-ordered time sharing with your kids. Some states try to implement these agreed parenting plans, but those are usually very tilted in favor of the moms. And I think that what they're trying to do, the states that are doing that, they're trying to convince dad, oh no, you don't need to go file a circuit court case to establish time sharing with your kids. See, we've got this proposed parenting plan that we're recommending the parties enter here. But it's this really this like every other weekend type of thing where the other parent's going to have the overwhelming majority, and you're still going to get nailed for this tremendous amount of child support, and then you're still in the system, right? You're still in the Title 4D system, so the state's getting a cut from the child support payments, they're getting matched federal dollars, for their enforcement process. From my research, and they're still taxing you for this insane late payment interest and all this other revenue generating stuff for the state. So it's harsh. It's a harsh thing. You have to get out of that Title 4D process. I know I kind of rambled a lot in this video, but if you can get past the rambling and me being in a car, I think some of my most meaningful stuff happens. Just kind of comes out of my brain when I'm driving. I don't know. I guess it's just the way my brain works. A lot of other videos on this channel. Check them out. Videos where I go into more detail about, the discovery process and everything else. I am working on a course I'm working on a course, child support course. But again, that we'll see when that drops. But the big thing is you don't want to be stuck in the state child support system, okay? And most of my videos are about identifying when you're in that state system and figuring out ways to get out of it any way you can, right? And so check out the other videos here. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. If you if you want to, you can subscribe to this channel. You're not forced to, but you know, a lot of good videos, a lot of good content if you're interested in the child support niche. All right, guys, I appreciate you hanging through the end. Kind of a long one here. I will see you guys in the next one.